Alright, what's going on, guys? It's your man George, and today we're going to talk about some of the different features that make the Sherman S the Sherman S. The Sherman suspension wheels got a few unique things that you're not going to find on any other unicycle right now, so let's talk about it. Alright, first things first, let's talk about the laser. Okay, so the lasers on the back of the Sherman S. Everybody's seen them. I think they're really, really cool. Aesthetically, I love the lasers on this thing. I think it adds a really unique look to the Sherman, especially when you're riding at night. But functionally, I think they're all but useless, if I'm being honest with you. During the daytime, you can't see them at all, and at night, they're so slight as far as, like, realistically, like a driver seeing you, a car. I don't think they're really increasing your visibility much at all. Aesthetically, awesome. Functionally, not so much. While we're on the subject of lights, though, the headlight is pretty darn good, actually. I think it's about as good as it gets for a stock headlight on a unicycle. I like that it's fully adjustable. Seems to have a pretty wide throw. It's very bright. Big fan of the headlight. Alright, next up, let's talk pedals. So first things first, the Sherman S pedals have something that I think are unique to pedals. As far as I've seen, I've never seen pedals that have an adjustable sizing. So you see these pedals have these little buttons. I'll just show you. They go up and down. For me, I like riding with at least this top portion extended. I got big feet. My toes tend to hang over the pedals, so the bigger pedals, the better for me. As far as how they're held in place, they've kind of got this ratcheting friction system that I'm not 100% sold on. It seems pretty functional, but we'll have to see exactly how that works, if it's going to hold up over time. I know Jason's planning on doing a teardown of this bad boy, so hopefully when we do that, I'll get a chance to film it, and we can take a closer look at exactly what the mechanism is at work here with the pedals. One of the things I'm not a huge fan of, though, is these grip spikes. So you see how they're kind of recessed. There's this big lip around all these grooves here. It really makes these not as effective as they should be. It's not bad. I think it's better than grip tape still. But coming from the Gotway spikes, I just love the Gotway pedals, and those spikes are just so aggressive on there. These definitely feel a lot slicker than the Gotway spikes. My feet don't get locked in quite as well. Maybe that's something you're chasing. Maybe you don't like the spikes in the Gotway pedals. So if that's the case, these might be perfect for you. One big negative to the pedals as well, though, is the fact that the way that they're mounted as of right now is definitely a proprietary system. You're not going to be able to fit any third market pedals that currently exist on this bad boy. You're pretty much stuck with these. If you just take a look in there, you can see how it's probably, I mean, there's a chance maybe you could jerry rig something together, get them in here. I'm not really sure. We'll see what people end up coming up with, but my gut tells me someone's gonna have to make specific Sherman S pedals, not just, you can't just slap your Gotways, your CNC free motions or whatever, what have yous on there. All right, let's talk about the weight and these handles, right? So functionally, this unicycle is as heavy as any unicycle on the market. It is an absolute beast. I think they say it's like 96, 97 pounds, something like that. Lifting it up, I can tell you, it feels no different than lifting my EX20. It's a bitch. The one real benefit this has, though, is these handles that come on it are actually really nice. They're both made of metal. They're pretty comfortable to hold on to. I have big hands. My hands fit pretty well. And they do make lifting it as easy as it's gonna get. But yeah, if you live even on a second floor, honestly, hauling this thing up and down, it's not gonna be great. While I've got it here, I guess we should talk about the trolley handle real quick. To lift up the trolley handle, there's a little switch in the front here. You just flop that, there she goes. Honestly, I think this trolley handle is incredibly cheap. It feels flimsy in the hand. I feel like I'm gonna break it. It works well enough. But man, look at how much flex there is in it. I really just, it feels incredibly cheap for a $4,000 machine. To close it, same thing, you hit the lever, shut it down. Not a fan of the trolley handle at all. I also don't like that this doesn't really have any kind of kill switch. You're just using the power button on and off, that's all you got. Kickstand's great though. All right, next up, let's talk Powerport. Can we talk Powerport, please? There's a couple of things I really dislike about the Powerports here for the Sherman. It's got two, which is always nice, but the location is terrible. First and foremost, it comes with this little rubber cap that literally just popped right off, maybe the second time I went to go charge it. It's just got a little T connection on there, so I can shove it back in there. It looks like someone before me, based on the marks on the back, already had to shove it back in there. I don't think I'm the first one who's had this fall off. For a $4,000 machine, I really think we need to start in the unicycle world here, demanding a little bit better than a little rubber door flapped over the chargers. Can't we have a nice plastic flap with an O-ring on it? Something? Figure out some kind of a design that's just higher quality. It's gonna last a lot longer. It's gonna seal a lot tighter. This is just literally the cheapest possible option. And when we're talking about machines going upwards of $4,000 now, come on, you can't spend the extra buck to make it nice. And the second thing I really dislike is the location. When you go to charge, you have to fish your wires in here between the handle, which is just a pain in the butt. And if this does fall off, now when I go to pick it up, I'm sticking my fingers right in there by these sockets. I don't like where it's located. I hate how it's covered. The charging situation on the Sherman here could be a lot better. Next up though, let's talk about something that they did really right on the Sherman, and that's this beefcake of a rim. Take a look at this thing. Yeah, the rim on this thing though is really thick, which I think was a much needed improvement after the issues that the V1 Sherman had. Even the V2 Sherman had with its rims, where people were having a lot of issues, cracking them, denting them. It's nice to see that they took that into consideration here, even though it has suspension, so theoretically, it should be a lot easier on the rim than a hardtailed wheel. Still, they decided to go ahead and beef that rim way up. Love it. So the entire exterior of the Sherman is one hard metal shell. You can see where people who had this wheel before me dropped it. You can see the exposed, I don't know what this is. I don't think it's aluminum. I'm pretty sure it's some kind of a steel, probably one of those magnesium infused steels or whatever it is. Chinesium. But overall, I mean, the case on this thing is just solid all the way around. Full metal construction. This is what you want to see as far as a durable, just absolute beefy case. I love it. With the one exception that they did go with plastic for the inside of the shell on both sides here, which, you know, they could have done better. I do believe they probably made that choice due to weight and the fact that it's not really exposed, so we'll give them a pass. But yeah, overall, huge fan of the shell on the Sherman suspension. I think this is something that you're gonna see standard from Sherman here going on in the future. I hope so anyways. I love it. I think that everyone's gonna love it. Keep doing it, Sherman. Veteran, lubricant. All right, and one of the last things we gotta talk about here is the display and the control panel. All right, so settings on this thing are pretty easy to use. There's a lighting button here for your headlight, the power button, which is just on and off, and then there's two buttons on the side here. You have the OK button and the side scroll. And most of the settings in here are pretty self-explanatory. You hit OK, and then you can kind of scroll through the different buttons. The side scrolling button here changes what setting you can see up here. Individual mileage, total mileage, temperature, the voltage, amperage currently coming out. I don't know what VA is. But then if you press and hold the OK button, it brings you into the different settings. And if you press the OK button again, it changes that setting. Then you can scroll over. Most of these are pretty standard. I think the one that most people are going to be interested in here are, let me see, this low battery mode, which when this is on, essentially lets you drain the battery further. We don't want that on, actually. I don't know why it's on. I want that off. But this will let you bring the battery down lower than the 76, I believe, volt cutoff. I think it brings you all the way down to like 72 volts, or maybe even lower than that. But you don't want to be using that mode unless you absolutely have to. Riding your battery down to absolute zero is never a good idea. But it is nice to have the option in here. If you were stuck out somewhere, you can switch it, get a little extra juice. And then the other mode you're going to be really interested in here, which I think just about everybody's going to be turning on now that I just updated the firmware to have it, is this high speed mode. No, it didn't turn on. There we go. High speed mode, baby. But I'm sure 99% of you aren't going to listen to me, and you're just going to ride with that on all day, every day. So, good luck. All right, guys. Well, those are the main features I think most people are going to want to evaluate and talk about here with the Sherman S. I hope you enjoyed listening to my thoughts on them, checking them out a little bit ahead of time here before maybe you get yours or you see somebody else's. As always, if you want to support the channel, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to get yourself one of these Sherman S's, go ahead and use the affiliate link down in the description below. That will actually support my buddy Jason, who is the one who hooked me up with this unit right here for us to test out. And of course, a shout out to the guys at E-Wheels for sending this to my buddy Jason and allowing me to play with it for a little while. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. As always, I really appreciate you watching, and until next time, ride safe.